Welcome into LTSN. It looks, feels, and sounds like a big game, and that's because it is. The fourth and final WAC tournament quarterfinal of the day. A wonderful Saturday. Postseason play is here. It is mid-November, and that signals the games are just about as big as they are going to get. The Blue Devils and the Saints, Lawrence Tech and Aquinas, meeting up for the second time this season. Now in the WAC tournament, Blue Devils beat Aquinas 2-0 in early October. Max Jewett in goal today for the Blue Devils, a 6'6" goalkeeper, hoping to repeat what he did in last year's WAC tournament when the Blue Devils won it. They are the reigning WAC tournament champs. The regular season was a bit different this year. Not quite what they expected, not quite what they wanted, but a chance to turn things around. They turned it on at the right time, winning 3 of their final 4 games under head coach Will Dyer, his 8th season, and looking for a 3rd consecutive very successful WAC tournament. Blue Devils have made the last 2 championship games in this tournament. Lost to Uno a couple of years ago. Now, coming off that tournament win last year in the final against Indiana Tech, 3-0. They started out that tournament last year on this field with a wonderful win over Cornerstone, one for the memory. It was a scintillating finish in overtime. They're hoping this one won't go to overtime, but this Aquinas team has played quite a few overtimes this year. They have 6 ties on their belt. Under their head coach, Luke Luff, it has been quite the turnaround. The mentality, obviously the play on the field as this ball is centered in. First opportunity there in goal today. Once again on the Aquinas side of things is Antonio Strasiotto, the Italian goalkeeper. The number 1 goalkeeper and one of the freshmen on this Aquinas team. We'll get our first set piece of the night under the lights. Only WAC quarterfinal being played today at night. We have the bright lights, we have the theatrics, and we have the teams to play the roles. Here comes the first corner to the far post. The header comes in, opportunity, but it falls gracefully into the hands of Strasiotto. I mentioned the turnaround for Aquinas. If you aren't familiar with this group, it's a program over the past 10, 12 seasons that has really been known for its success. They have plenty of seasons finishing above 500 and well above 500, but last year was their worst season in a long, long time. They went 1-16. 0-10 on the road, 1-16. Their one win came over Lourdes in early October. That was a peculiar year. They bounced back this season, obviously making the WAC tournament, which they did not do last year. Finished last place in the conference a season ago. But trying to continue this rebound year, this year at 5-7-6. Both of these teams finished below 500, so it wasn't a desirable season for both sides. But here we are in WAC tournament play, and right now this is all that matters. Lawrence Tech finished 7-10. As the ball lofted in as Aquinas tries to venture into the LTU half of the field for the first time today. Couldn't do so. Kevin Wright began springing the other way for LTU. And now the Blue Devils will take possession. I'm Jason Ross Jr. By the way, producer Kia Tyus with us. Gabe O'Neill down on the field getting highlights that you can catch next week on our various social media channels. The LTU Sports Report, you can find that on Fox Sports Detroit every Monday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. All of the highlights, interviews from our various LTU athletic events. A busy, busy day here at Blue Devil Stadium. The first ever playoff game here at Blue Devil Stadium taking place tonight. So what a scene, what a moment. Will Dyer's team trying to win their 2nd consecutive postseason game on this field. They were a 4 seed last year. They went 7-10 this season, although in a league that kind of cannibalized itself. They still managed to get a 4 seed and a home playoff berth. You typically wouldn't associate a 7-10 record with a home playoff berth, but that's what they have this season. Only the top 3 seeds in the conference this year finished above 500. It has been an interesting season in men's soccer. Those top 3 seeds, Indiana Tech, Uno, and Madonna, those are all ranked teams, and it kind of feels like there's this large gap of separation between those three teams and the rest of the pack. Lawrence Tech is right on the outside looking in there as the 4 seed. But once again, 7 and 10 in comparison to Madonna's 12-3-3 record, 8-2-1 in the conference. Then you have Uno at 8-1-2 in the conference, and Indiana Tech didn't lose in regulation. They went 10-0-1 in WAC play, claiming that number 1 seed this season, the 18th ranked team in the land. That is who one of these two teams will meet next Wednesday. Indiana Tech defeated the 8 seed Michigan Dearborn earlier today. Madonna took down Concordia 1-0. And Uno beating Cleary 3-1. There's Max Jewett, the aforementioned goalkeeper. Such a lovable personality around this campus. The two-sport athlete, also plays volleyball. Number 1 goalkeeper on this team. Obviously did very well last season in the postseason. Came up big in some monumental games during that season a year ago that saw the Blue Devils reach the national tournament. This year, they would have to win this WAC tournament for the 2nd year in a row if they are to reach the national tournament. Mentioned it's such a busy day around campus. Women's volleyball team attempting to be the first team to ever go 20-0 in WAC play. Not too far away from here over at Don Riddler Fieldhouse. I popped over there for a bit before this one got underway. Off to a bit of a scary start if you're an LTU fan. They're down a set the last time I checked, but they were up 19-16 in the 2nd set. Football lost earlier today in their home finale. Still a couple of games left. Women's soccer, last time I checked, 10 minutes left, under 10 minutes to go, trailing 1-0 at Aquinas in the semifinal. How about Andy Richards' group pulling off that upset over Cornerstone earlier this week? Oh my gosh, that gives me chills just thinking about that win. Just narrowly missed out on a home playoff berth, but went on the road, pulled off the upset at Cornerstone as Jewett comes out here, safely cradling that ball. But what a win for head coach Andy Richards. First postseason win under Coach Richards. A marvelous season for them. They were down 1-0 in the dwindling minutes. Another close matchup with Aquinas. Those matchups had been close. The last 2 had gone to overtime. So this is one of 2 Aquinas versus LTU postseason battles today. Blue Devils in the black unis, the alternate unis that they don't really break out until the weather gets colder. About a 33-degree evening that has turned into night. We are under the bright lights of Blue Devil Stadium in the first ever postseason game here at Blue Devil Stadium. Blue Devils didn't have very many home games here. Began the season with a daunting road schedule. Lovely defensive play there from the freshman Jai Talon, Toronto native that they are very high on in Grand Rapids. Plenty of fresh new faces, whether they are freshmen or transfers, for this Aquinas team looking to spring forward here after the timely intervention. A drop pass, no one was home, and now the Blue Devils can potentially counterattack. Slip it down that wing for Kevin Wright. The back line was ready, moving up there. Now Lawrence Tech with that high press. The 4-3-3 formation in full force for LTU. Jewett didn't have to deal with anything there. Potential was brewing. Once again, the winner plays Indiana Tech next Wednesday at Indiana Tech. This is the 4-5 matchup, 4th and final quarterfinal game today. The playoffs just sell themselves, don't they? I mean, if you're a sports fan, I don't care what it is. You love playoff action. Gosh, you can just feel the energy of this one. Will Dyer on the Blue Devils side and Luke Ruff standing up near that Aquinas sideline, the 2 head coaches today. Blue Devils also hosted a 4-5 matchup last year, as I mentioned, beat Cornerstone in that thriller 2-1 in overtime. Players came pouring onto the field in that corner to the left of your screen, not in picture right now. Blue Devils trying to make their way over there. Just the feeling of desperation is palpable. The feeling of wanting to move on. The feeling of seniors hoping to perhaps extend their collegiate careers. There aren't very many seniors on this Aquinas side. Dancing with the ball here, Finn Patak, another freshman from Brighton, England. Plenty of international faces on this Aquinas team. This one flicks through nicely for Patak. Trying to stroll his way and did a lovely job there. Oh, Jewett's first save of the evening takes another shot, and that sprays wide. And it draws a reigning crowd applaud from this Blue Devil faithful. Chills in the early goings. You don't have to say much in these playoff games. They just kind of carry themselves. The intensity, the pressure, the energy, the edge of your seat kind of feel. Here comes the corner, the first of the night for Aquinas. Nothing doing there. Punched out off the forehead of Jewett, and now back comes Kevin Wright. There's Michael Avilo rather there in the penalty area, rejecting any chance for Aquinas on that corner. About 11 minutes into this one. Each side with one set piece. Each side maybe with one legitimate chance so far. Jewett will just loft this ball into the night sky. Pittock once again able to track this ball down. The Brighton, England native will play it into the penalty area. A fizzing ball. That time off the head of Bryce Nicholson, the junior from Jenison, Michigan. Back on defense. Who will this settle down to? Collision. There was plenty of that in the first meeting between these two teams. Plenty of yellow cards were handed out in that one. Once again, that was a 2-0 win for Lawrence Tech. Blue Devils defeated Aquinas last year as well. Kevin Wright couldn't spin his way past Jai, but they do take it on the second opportunity. Michael Avila prancing his way through traffic. Alvaro Marino. This one, is it going to fall nicely? Can they stay on side? There's a save made by Strasiato. I mentioned he is the #1 goalkeeper on this group, and yet another freshman. He started in 14 games this season. He's appeared 15 times. One of 17 freshmen on this Aquinas team. Obviously, they don't all have regular roles, but there are quite a few of them who play prominent roles. He started and recorded a clean sheet in the season finale win over Cleary for this Aquinas team. Both teams kind of turned it on at the right time. Strasiato started in that loss to Lawrence Tech earlier this season. Hails from Provizza Domini, Italy, in northern Italy. One of a few Italians on the Aquinas side. Crossfield ball over in front of the Blue Devil bench. Now an opportunity to potentially combine here. There's an overlapping run. Lop to cut to the middle. Working on the edge of the penalty area. And it will just roll onto the foot of Strasiato. Nearing 15 minutes in. 0-0 the score. If you're just joining us, pleasure to have you. Make sure to keep you updated on the score and time tonight. 30 minutes to go in this opening half. No score yet. Kevin Wright will make the overlapping run here. They try to progress through the midfield. We get a foul called. Welcome back to LTSN. 0-0 is the score with 30 minutes and 36 seconds remaining in the first half. Jason Ross Jr. here with you for this WAC tournament quarterfinal between Aquinas and Lawrence Tech. Blue Devils will deliver the free kick from the midfield. We'll go all the way down to the penalty area. The header, no problems there. The goalkeeper, Straciatini. Mentioned it was such a gauntlet in the non-conference schedule for Lawrence Tech to begin this year. They were hoping it'd be a tale of two seasons after that 0-5 start. It was their worst start in a number of years. They were able to win 3 of their first 4 conference games after that, then hit another skid, losing 3 in a row. Managed to turn it around once again at the right time of the year. Won 3 of their final 4 games, did Lawrence Tech. And now trying to carry that momentum into the WAC tournament and win it for a second consecutive year. Right now, the focus on this Aquinas team and hopefully becoming the first team to score tonight. It's still a 0-0 game as they try to venture their way into the Aquinas attacking third. Now, there's a big collision there. Fans campaign for a call. Mentioned all the physical play in the first meeting. See what we have here. The official will come in and just, I believe, break up the discussion. Fans are thinking there should have been a yellow card there. Lawrence Tech's finale of the season, regular season, did end in a loss. It was a 3-0 loss to Uno on senior day. So trying to bounce back after Uno came in here and spoiled the senior day. This ball lofted into the penalty area. Once again, nothing doing there. These tournament games, oftentimes we can see overtimes because they're just played so tightly. Not much margin for error. Mentioned the women were in a duel with Aquinas out in Grand Rapids in their WAC semifinal. That tournament started earlier this week on the women's side. Pulled off the upset over Cornerstone. They played Aquinas today. We're trailing 1-0 with under 10 minutes to go. We'll keep you updated on that score. Here's Mario Colea, the sophomore and transfer from Spring Arbor. Actually played Spring Arbor on this field earlier in the season. That was a nostalgic game for the Macomb, Michigan native. Very fit player. This team really put an emphasis on the conditioning. Had trouble scoring in the early goings of the season. Said they had to kind of get back to the fundamentals and work on what we did growing up as soccer players, and felt they were able to kind of get to that point where they returned back to what they did last year. But I mentioned it was still an up-and-down season. They had that 3-game losing streak in the middle of conference play that set them back once again. But it was a year where this conference was very tight, win-loss-wise. Beyond the top 3, the only top 3 teams finished above 500. But after that, everyone else is below 500, at least 3 games below that even mark. So it's kind of a wide separation between the top 3 teams that are the obviously primary picks to win this tournament and the rest of the group. So LTU and Aquinas are 2 teams that are hoping to surprise some people in this tournament. Coming into this season, it was expected that LTU would maybe be a 1-2 seed in this tournament. They were picked to finish second in the conference, right behind Madonna. Things didn't really pan out that way. Ultimately, they did end up finishing behind Madonna. Madonna is the 3 seed. They're ranked 25th in the country. But their season was a bit different. They finished well above 500. Had a very, very successful campaign. Finishing at 8-2-1 in the conference. 12-3-3 overall. Defeated Lawrence Tech in that rivalry matchup. Here's Kevin Wright, a player that had a magical multiple goal game on this field earlier this season. He's had a couple of those on this field. I hope to get him going today. but it's sure to be a tight battle in the midfield. Some space here, though, for Sean Humphreys, the South African. It's lofted in for Wright, aforementioned, strolling in. Wright had that shot repelled out, but that's the name that they're trying to aim for. 2 multi-goal games last season, one on this field, another one this season on this field. He's had some magical moments. The senior from Linden, Michigan, trying to prolong his career. The second corner of the night for Lawrence Tech. The header, and he goes wide. About halfway through the opening half of play in this WAC tournament quarterfinal between Aquinas and Lawrence Tech. Blue Devils beat Aquinas 2-0 earlier this season. Congratulations to head coach Will Dyer, by the way, named the Champions of Character coach as the WAC honors were just recently released. Congratulations to Coach. Always love chatting with Coach Dyer. Really instills the mindset into this group of where they need to be on a daily basis. They take it one day at a time. It's been a program that has reached new heights of success over the past couple of years. That's why that start to this year was so different for these players. It was kind of a start that you wondered how they would respond to mentally. They were able to stay in it after losing a couple of key seniors last year. You think about Santiago Amigo. Chris Serwatka as well, another one of those seniors from last year that departed. They didn't lose very many players, but they lost some players who made a pretty big impact. Started out 0-5, playing a few really, really tough top-ranked opponents in that non-conference schedule. All of the games are on the road. But right now, this is all that matters. Once again, 0-0 the score, 23 minutes, 56 seconds to go in this opening half of play. If you're just tuning in, that is 0-0 is your score. 23 minutes and 47 seconds to go in this opening half. Sean Humphreys strolling here. Player who is so composed. Now a sophomore, really played beyond his years as a freshman. Does so well on the ball. He'll deliver set pieces. We're number 16 a year ago, now number 5. That's starting left back position. Alvaro Moreno, the sophomore forward from Madrid. Very tactical player on the ball. Talk to some coaches on the staff, and they say, you know, whenever we need an easy way out, we're going to go to Alvaro. And you see him on the ball quite a bit. They said, whenever we need an easy out, we're going to go to him and see what he can do. Bit of room opened up there. It was promptly closed. With the right foot there of Talon. Now Aquinas trying to spring the other way. Venturing into the penalty area. Wanted a call, they won't get one. Number 4 seed taking on the number 5 seed here in this WAC quarterfinal. 0-0 the score, 22 minutes and 22 seconds to go in this first half of play between Aquinas and Lawrence Tech. Ball is lofted over into that LTU sideline. The season that started back in the summer, this fall sport that really begins in the summertime with the work. Here's a kick from the penalty area off the first ball in, and it goes high. The Blue Devils were able to get the advantage over Aquinas to become the 4 seed by 1.5 games. A favorable matchup for them, considering obviously they've beaten them this season. You'll have Indiana Tech next. If you're just tuning in, the Blue Devils won this tournament as the 4 seed last season. So maybe some extra motivation in a season that has been different than last year. Success-wise, the 4 seed, but 7-10 overall. You're never satisfied with a 7-10 season. Jewett, such a competitor, climbs his way up into the air to haul that down. Jewett started 20 of 21 games last season, more of the same this year. Number 1 goalkeeper for this Lawrence Tech side. A junior, 6'6", 205. It's an Aquinas team that, once again, went 1-16 last year. 0-10 on the road. That was a bit of an anomaly. They had never really had a season like that before. You date back the last 10, 12 years, a very successful program in Grand Rapids. They were the number 2 seed just the year before that, when they won 14-5, then dropped off, went 1-16. It's been a resurgence this year. Jewett able to once again climb into the night sky and vacuum that down. Saints are 2-5-2 on the road this year. They have more ties than they do wins this season. Interesting. 6 ties, 5 wins, finished 5-7-6 on the year. Quite the bounce back, but still building up to where they would one day like to be, with plenty of fresh faces on this team. College basketball is back this week. Dick Vitale, one of the best commentators that you'll find out there. He likes to call them diaper dandies. Plenty of diaper dandies on this Aquinas team. 17 of them to be exact. Women's basketball and men's basketball, a couple of other teams in action around campus this week. They're on the road. Women lost last night, so did the men, looking to bounce back today, both in weekend tournament play as the early stages of the November season get underway for basketball. There's a ball that comes in. Jewett claims that. Now in search of options the other way, looking to move quickly. Alvaro Marino, can he track this down? Look at that brilliant speed of his. Marino moving into the penalty area. Here's Alvaro Marino, plays the ball in to the far post. It sprays out off the forehead. That time of Andrea Gigani, the Italian, did well to get back. That was a scintillating spring the other way, started by Jewett in goal. That was a fun sequence to watch. But the Rimini, Italy native did well to get back. Another freshman, by the way, Gigani. They really like what they saw from him right from the beginning of the season. He started all 6 games, he started every game this year that he's played in. But this is his first postseason start, a bit different. To the near post. Oh, that rung off the post and out of play. Zero is the score. 17:35 to go in this first half of play in this WAC tournament quarterfinal. Jason Ross Jr. with you. Pleasure to be with you tonight. I don't know how anyone couldn't love postseason action. Aquinas having some trouble getting through the midfield. Once again, the winner of this one will play Indiana Tech on Wednesday, the number 1 seed. They'll have to travel down to Indiana Tech. Tough environment and a tough team. Tech hasn't lost in regulation this year in WAC play. They continue that run today with a win over the 8 seed, Michigan Dearborn. Fourth and final game of this Saturday, full of playoff action. 16-18 to go in this first half. 0-0 is your score. Once again, we'll have highlights of this one. Gabe O'Neill down on the field for you. You can catch those highlights on the various LTU Athletics social media channels, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, whatever you may choose. You can find interviews from the players, the seniors trying to extend their careers tonight on both sides. Do or die time on this Saturday, November 9th. Crisp 34-degree night. Fans are bundled up here at Blue Devil Stadium. The stadium is currently watching its first ever postseason game. The newly renovated 4,000-seat venue. Blue Devils went 3-2 at home this year, 4-8 on the road. We get another player down, this time the Blue Devils side, getting off a bit gingerly. Clock stops at 15:01 in this first half. Once again, 0-0 your score. Two shots on goal for Lawrence Tech, one for Aquinas, and that one went just wide of Jewett's net. Sorry, it was a Jewett save, and then they had another chance you could consider to be a pretty good opportunity that went just wide. During this quick little breather, check on women's volleyball, see how they're doing over at the Don Riddler Fieldhouse. Busy day of LTU athletics. The women's soccer team did indeed conclude what was such a historic season for them with that 1-0 loss today against Aquinas. Kudos to those seniors. Kudos to Andy Richards. Such an excellent effort from that group all season long, and they were fun to watch on this home field. I thoroughly enjoyed working with that team this year. So congratulations to Andy and that excellent women's soccer team this year. Such a brilliant season, brilliant. I don't know if you even call it a turnaround, just they were able to really raise the level and the bar of that program this year. And they should be even better next season. Meanwhile, opportunity here for Lawrence Tech. Chance brewing, a shot that fizzes in. And a reactionary save from Antonio Straziato. The Pravisomini, Italy native, makes another save. 0-0 the score. 14:04 to go in this first half that continues to roll on. It'll produce a fourth set piece for Lawrence Tech. Ball comes in. Oh, it sprays in, and it did indeed go in. Is it Kevin Wright? 1-0 Lawrence Tech. It is indeed Kevin Wright, the senior trying to prolong his career. He has had some magical moments on this home field. There's the first goal of this postseason for LTU as they try to repeat as WAC tournament champs. And it starts tonight in this quarterfinal. They're now up 1-0 thanks to Kevin Wright. The Linden, Michigan native. Who else but Kevin Wright to break the tie and get the Blue Devils up 1-0 with 13:45 to go in the first half. Allie Nybor, by the way, did have a pretty – it was a chance that was brewing in the final 10 minutes of that game against Aquinas for the woman. lofted it over the top of the goalkeeper from what I heard, and apparently an Aquinas defender got back and just kept it from rolling into an open net in Grand Rapids. Meanwhile, in the other postseason matchup between Aquinas and Lawrence Tech, the men's side, the Blue Devils are fizzing with momentum now, up 1-0 with 13:07 to go in the first half, and you can feel the energy. They'll have to concede possession here, but Kevin Wright, the difference maker at the moment. Wow, getting some more word from that women's soccer game. There was one shot on goal total, and it was a difference maker. When Aquinas and LTU get together on the women's side, are you going to draw it up any differently? I don't think so. Those teams have played some tight matchups. Don't expect very many shots on goal when those two squads get together, and there weren't very many today. Just one on goal total between the two sides, and it was the difference maker. Certainly a season to be celebrated, though, from that Lawrence Tech women's group. $11:47 to go now in this opening half of play. 1-0 is the Lawrence Tech lead. We'll keep you updated on score and time throughout the night. About 43 minutes into this one. We had a 6 p.m. start today. Fourth and final WAC tournament game of the day. The winner of this one will play Indiana Tech. Madonna took care of Concordia as well earlier today. Uno defeated Cleary. 22nd ranked team in the country. All top 3 seeds are ranked. This ball rolls into the midfield for Andrea Gigini. The Rimini, Italy native, now into the penalty area. Pretty nifty turn there. Repelled out, though. Here is Kevin Wright, the lone goal scorer, trying to track this ball down. 1-0 your score. 10.5 to go in this first half of play. Ball over in front of Will Dyer, in front of that LTU bench. Trying to slip free down that right-hand side. Blue Devils finished the campaign 7-10 on the season, but turned it on at the right time. Won 3 of their final 4. Luke Ruff over in front of that Aquinas sideline as that ball blisters past Jewett. Jewett hasn't had many scares tonight. Just that one early save. Once again, 1-0 your score, 9:23 to go in this opening half of play. Fourth and final playoff game, and we have the one under the lights for you tonight here at Blue Devil Stadium. This stadium watching its first ever postseason game. The newly renovated stadium, 4,000 seats capacity on the west side of the field. Alvaro Moreno curling his way, now frolicking inside of the Aquinas half of the field. Sean Humphreys, the South African, will try to play it forward there. Looking for Michael Avila. Timely intervention on the Aquinas side. One of those 17 freshmen for Aquinas. Plenty of fresh faces making their first postseason debuts. A bit different in this kind of an atmosphere. A bit different in terms of this kind of a pressure that you really haven't felt until you experience it. Here is one of those freshmen, Gigini. They really liked what they saw from him right away. He started in every match he's played as a freshman. It's a young back end patrolling here. Blue Devils will sit back. Not really a high press from Lawrence Tech in that 4-3-3 formation today. Jewett strolls out and slides down onto that $3 million surface. $8:05 to go now in this first half. 1-0 is the Lawrence Tech lead. Kevin Wright is the difference maker right now. Who else but Kevin Wright? I mean, the senior trying to prolong his career. He's been so magical on this field in so many big moments. Had a multi-goal game earlier this season on this field. Had the pleasure of watching that one firsthand. We have another player down on the Lawrence Tech side. This one doesn't appear to be one that will draw the trainer. Clock resumes, and Jewett will take the controls. Blue Devils defeated Aquinas 2-0 earlier this season. They're the 4 seed. Season didn't go quite as planned, but maybe they can draw some extra confidence from the fact that they won this tournament as a 4 seed a year ago. Won a thrilling 2-1 overtime game in the first round of the WAC tournament over Cornerstone. Players came pouring onto the field. That was a fun sight to watch. Did that one with my friend Chase Kaufman. Nearly a year later, and here they are once again as a 4 seed. Here's another set piece. This is what produced the last goal. Will Dyer looking on. It comes into the penalty area along the 6-yard box. Strasiato came out to punch that free with his forehead, but it rolls back onto the foot of the Blue Devils. That one sprung off the crossbar. Oh, once again, the set piece is producing opportunity. $6:10 to go now in this first half. 1-0 is the Lawrence Tech lead. Aquinas really hasn't had very many opportunities in the Lawrence Tech half of the field, or at least in the attacking third. Haven't got many touches in the penalty box. They've had troubles in this area of the field, the midfield, just trying to break free. Lawrence Tech has done well to take care of their time and space. Meeting the ball promptly. Playing the passing lanes well. Just like that. Just not much room to breathe. They look for opportunity down the left-hand side here. Can they get a touch in the box, though? Aquinas team that had more ties than wins. 6 ties, 5 wins, 7 losses. Mohamed Mustafa now in the game for Aquinas. They don't substitute a lot. He was their only substitute in that win over Cleary to finish up the season with a 2-0 win. Sophomore from Grand Rapids. Plenty of Grand Rapids natives on this team that just decided to stay right at home. A few seniors from Grand Rapids as well. That find themselves down 1-0 if you're just joining us. LTU with the 1-0 lead. 4 minutes and 30 seconds to go in the first half of play. Kevin Wright, the lone goal scorer. These moments just do not faze Kevin Wright. And he's told me before, he just loves playing on this home field. Doesn't quite know what it is, but he seems to perform pretty well here. Blue Devils didn't play very many games at home. Mentioned they played their first 5 on the road. Lost all 5 of those games. A daunting schedule. Plenty of highly ranked teams. And just couldn't quite make it through the gauntlet unscathed. But trying to pick it up in the biggest of moments. When early November rolls around, it's postseason time, and you gotta love it. If you're a sports fan of any sort, nothing better than postseason play. Oh, look at Marino clip free past the oncoming Gagini, able to elude him. Now he has Avilo running. Plays it towards him, but out of his reach, and it'll stroll into the hands of Strasiato. Meanwhile, Aquinas trying to get a counterattack going, but you see how fast LTU tracks back defensively. That's always key after a missed opportunity offensively, to get back, not sulk in your own whatever, but just get back defensively, and they do that so well. .255 to go in this opening half now. 1-0 to Lawrence Tech lead. Ball is lofted high into this night sky underneath the bright lights on this bright stage. Trying to slip it through out of the reach of Marino. It would have been free and would have been onside. Gagini couldn't keep that in, so LTU will set up in the, not quite in the attacking third, but they'll try to venture their way in. Sean Humphreys will deliver here. Humphreys, a player who often does deliver the set pieces in the corners. Coaching staff really liked what they saw from him as a freshman. Oh, that was a lovely move. It goes off the side of the net. Well, women's volleyball has won after somewhat of a scary first set. On senior day, Siena Heights was upset-minded, but the Blue Devils become the first team to ever go 20-0 in WAC play. What an achievement. Kudos to head coach Ed Rule, continuing that magical run. They'll now host the WAC tournament all the way through, starting next Wednesday. You can find that on LTSN. Super pumped for that one. They might play Siena Heights again next Wednesday, so it could be a 2-game series between those two squads. But head coach Ed Rule and the Lawrence Tech women's volleyball team, they go to 20-0, wow, in conference play. This ball lofted into the penalty area. Aquinas trying to get something going here. Really their first opportunity in a number of minutes. Blue Devils up 1-0 with 60 seconds to go. Oh, that just clipped off the hand of Jewett. And wide. Wow, Max Jewett, a scintillating, sprawling save. Somehow clipped that off his fingertips. My goodness. Wow. Inches away from rolling over the hands of Jewett and tucking underneath that post. Max Jewett keeps it a 1-0 lead for Lawrence Tech with 30 seconds to go in this opening half of play. Gosh, used all 6'6". Oh, wow. Max Jewett, 6'6", 205 pounds, also a volleyball player, and they needed all 6'6" there to stay up 1-0. Well, time will elapse on half number 1 in this WAC quarterfinal. Welcome back to LTSN. The second half of this WAC quarterfinal underway. Lawrence Tech with a 1-0 lead over the visiting Aquinas Saints under head coach Luke Ruff. Will Dyer and his squad up 1-0, looking to advance to the second round in the semifinals, where they would face Indiana Tech. If they can indeed hold on, they would have the Warriors next Wednesday, the number 1 seed. These two squads already met up once this season. LTU won that one. You wonder what was said at halftime, what the message was from Coach Luke Ruff for this Aquinas team, now moving to our left, and Will Dyer and the Blue Devils now moving to our right. Max Jewett in goal made that excellent save towards the end of the half, laying out and using all 6'6" of his vertical length to make that save. Ball just grazed off his fingertips and sprayed wide to keep it a 1-0 lead for Lawrence Tech. So now the biggest half of the season so far for both sides. Can the Blue Devils hang on? Can Aquinas mount a comeback? There's already been one Aquinas win over Lawrence Tech. The Aquinas Saints defeated LTU on the women's side in the semifinals. Once again, congratulations to Andy Richards and such an incredible season for that women's team that wrapped up today out in Grand Rapids. Pulled off the upset over Cornerstone in the first round of the tournament, and the Aquinas women continue to just win those tight matchups over Lawrence Tech. Not too many shots on goal, not too many opportunities. Kind of always feels like it comes down to one shot, maybe just one opportunity when those two sides get together on the women's game. Now here just a quarterfinal in this one. That was a semifinal, a quarterfinal tonight. One of 4 quarterfinals taking place around the WAC conference. It's a pleasure to have you with us on LTSN. Jason Ross Jr., producer Kiatias, Gabe O'Neill down in the sidelines. Women's volleyball escapes over at Don Riddler Fieldhouse. We're able to come back after losing that first set, won the next 3. So I wouldn't say they escaped. They did escape a few days ago against Madonna after losing that 4th. Things got a bit scrapey today on Senior Day, but as per usual, that women's volleyball team stayed so calm and poised in the biggest of moments. There's Sean Humphreys, watched by Jackson Moore, who we haven't heard too much of today. First touch in the box of the second half. Nothing doing there. Aquinas didn't really have many touches in the penalty area until the latter stages of that first half when they got that threatening shot on goal. 5 shots on goal for Lawrence Tech in this one, 2 for Aquinas. A couple of players get entangled near that 50-yard line. Good sportsmanship there. There were an ample amounts of yellow cards the last time these two teams met up. 41 minutes and 43 seconds to go in the second half of play. Blue Devils up 1-0. Kevin Wright's goal, the difference maker right now. Who else but Kevin Wright? Linden, Michigan native, has had so many magical moments on this home field. The senior trying to prolong his career. Ball comes in on the free kick into the penalty area. Jewett will cradle it just outside of the 6-yard box. This Aquinas team went 2-5-2 on the road this season. Head coach Will Dyer and his group trying to make that 2-6-2. Congratulations to head coach Will Dyer once again on the Champions of Character Award. Little ball down the left-hand side here for Franco Calabrese, one of the Grand Rapids natives. A senior, Jewett comes out. Calabrese, one of several Grand Rapids natives on this Aquinas team that opted to stay right at home. Plenty of fresh new faces. 17 freshmen on the Aquinas team, and quite a few of them had prominent roles. Getting tripped up there as he tried to navigate his way into the attacking third. That was Jai Talan, a Toronto native. Plenty of players on the Aquinas side hailing from different nations, as you have as well on the Lawrence Tech side of things. I love how they have the flags on the near side of the field up on the Lawrence Tech side, representing all of the international faces on the Lawrence Tech team. We'll try to defend another free kick coming in here. Up 1-0 with 39:40 to go in the second half. Ball floats in. The header. Oh, danger brewing here. It rung off the crossbar, and Jewett was able to stay with that awkward ball. Pretty decent, energetic start to this half for Aquinas. You expected that coming out of the gates, down 1-0. You typically see that fire out of the second half from the team that's trailing as the desperation starts to settle in. Or just the energy of, we want to knot this thing up. Here's Kevin Wright, the lone goal scorer. Blue Devils up 1-0. Ball will roll kindly over onto the right foot of Nico Rodriguez Bermejo, who we haven't heard much of tonight. Was on the opposite side of the field in the first half as the Blue Devils were going the other way. Leading the team in goals this year. Spoke to people around the coaching staff, and they'll say that, he is kind of that true Spaniard winger. Second team All-WAC last season, one of the most talented players in the conference. So again, if you're just joining us, a 1-0 lead for Lawrence Tech. 38:07 to go in this second half of play. WAC honors came out today. No Garcia took home the Offensive Player of the Year for Indiana Tech. That is a face that Lawrence Tech could potentially see on Wednesday if they do move on. John Dunn, also congratulations to Coach Dunn on taking home Coach of the Year. Indiana Tech finished with the best record in the conference. They didn't lose in regulation this year. One tie at 10-0-1 in WAC play. Blue Devils trying to book a date with the Warriors. Aquinas, their focus right now is finding an equalizer with 37-14 to go in the second half. Blue Devils up 1-0. Jake Ireland perusing his way through traffic. Now the ball finds its way over to Franco Calabrese, one of those seniors trying to extend their careers. The pressure, the momentum, the energy, it's just all a bit different at this time of the year. Early November signals postseason play, and you've got to love it. Under the bright lights, the only night postseason game taking place today. All the other ones happened earlier this year. 1-0, the LTU lead. 36-33 to go in regulation. Aquinas, their last postseason appearance prior to today was as a 2 seed a couple of years ago. They fell to 1-16 last year after going 14-5 in that year they were the 2 seed. That was in 2017. 2018, once again, 1-16. Hard to believe for this program that really has done so well over the past decade. Blue Devils have been a program on the rise over the past couple of seasons. Had one of the best seasons in program history last year, winning the tournament. They've been to back-to-back WAC tournament championship games. Lost in the championship in 2017, won it in 2018, went to the national tournament. Such an incredible run last year for Will Dyer's team in November. Trying to replicate that this season and put a 7-10 regular season behind them. And we mentioned that 7-10 record. Nonetheless, they're still hosting a WAC first-round game. It wasn't your typical year around the conference. After the third spot, it's really just so wide open. You look at 1 through 3, they're all ranked. After that, it's kind of a separation. Top 3 teams are ranked: Indiana Tech, Uno, and Madonna. Then from Lawrence Tech on to the last place Cornerstone team at 2-14-2 on the season. Every team is below 500. So an interesting year in that regard. This ball is floated into the penalty area. Oh, Strasiato goes spiraling down. About 10 minutes into the second half. 1-0 is the Lawrence Tech lead. 35 minutes and 40 seconds to go on the second half clock. Blue Devils did go 6-5 in conference play, won 3 of their final 4. A topsy-turvy season, started 0-5, won 3 of their first 4 conference games. Nifty move there. There was another skid kind of in the middle of the season for Lawrence Tech. They lost 3 in a row. Here's a ball that comes in well wide. But once again, kind of turned it on at the end of the season at the right time. Bit of a crowd making some noise here at this newly renovated Blue Devil Stadium. Once again, enjoying its first ever postseason game if you're just tuning in. Oh, Jewett in some danger there. Creeping in, Luke Larson. Kevin Wright, responsible for the only goal in this one. Held his ground momentarily. That was kind of a wild run. Now the high press is on from Aquinas, causing some danger. There is no other option other than to buzz around with energy for Aquinas right now. You're trying to keep your season alive. You're down 1-0. You're in the second half, approaching the final, what could be half an hour of your season. And that's when you see plays just like we saw at the other end, when Jewett got in a little bit of danger there. He'll certainly have to be on his toes for plays just like that. Saints are just buzzing around the field right now. They know it's at stake, and they know they're down 1-0. This is a rather neat progression here. Ball soars just high. 33-28 to go in this second half. And Blue Devil fans on the edge of their seat. Moments just like that. You can feel the tension, and you can cut it with a knife. Juan Yarmillo, one of those seniors, makes his way in for Lawrence Tech. Junior, Juan Yarmillo, the Windsor, Ontario native. Such a very composed and mature personality. His leadership skills. Has some great work ethic. Does some great work in the community as well. Did some awesome work with the American Red Cross. Said he really learned a lot from that experience with the American Red Cross in the off season. Traveled with other NAIA athletes to, I believe it was Washington, D.C., and had a wonderful experience donating blood and just realizing how important that is. And you could feel how important it is to him when you talked to him about that experience. We did a really nice, cool feature story on Juan that you can find on the LTU Athletics YouTube channel and on the LTU Athletics Sports Report. You can also watch the Sports Report every Monday on Fox Sports Detroit at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. 31:55 to go in this second half. A 1-0 LTU lead. Blue Devils have been on the defensive for the most part in the second half. It was Alberto Titin, the Vicenza, Italy native midfielder, transfer from Saginaw Valley State. One of a few Italians in the starting 11 for the Aquinas team. And here comes another set piece. 31:09 left in the second half. A 1-0 Lawrence Tech lead. But Aquinas, their energy has been palpable in the second half. And they produce some opportunities just by way of that. How long does that energy stay at this level? Oh my goodness! Wow, what a curling ball there! That was absolutely magnificent from Alberto Titin, the Vicenza, Italy native, with a curling, fizzing ball that is the equalizer. It makes it 1-1 in this second half with 30 minutes and 50 seconds to go. Wow! Is there a superlative to do justice to that? I don't know. Whew. Wow. The transfer from Saginaw Valley State. The Italian makes it 1-1. In this WAC quarterfinal, do-or-die game. I don't know what was said at halftime, but Aquinas flat out went into desperation mode. And their energy and compete level, they've outplayed Lawrence Tech through the first 15 minutes of this second half. And it ultimately leads to a goal, probably deserving of a goal from their performance so far in this second half. I mean, their energy has just been out of this world in the first 15 minutes. Lawrence Tech trying to counter leads to a turnover, and now a counterattack brewing for the Saints. Long ball down that right-hand side. Really perhaps feasting off that shot on goal they had towards the end of the first half that tested Jewett. The energy has been high ever since then. They really haven't looked back. So now the Blue Devil crowd trying to urge on their group. A 1-1 game. Lawrence Tech won a 4-5 matchup in this tournament last year. That was in overtime. It was a 2-1 win over Cornerstone. Do or die in the WAC tournament. Don't have to say much now. This game just kind of sells itself. And the energy of it. The tension. Here's an opportunity potentially brewing for Lawrence Tech. Rodriguez Bermejo, they've bottled him up well today. Counterattack now brewing on the Aquinas side. .28:05 to go in this second half. A 1-1 game after Alberto Teton ties it on a blistering, wonderful hooking shot from the left-hand side of the field. Strasiazzo coming out there. This Aquinas team that once again had more ties than they had wins this year. 5, 6, and 7 on the year. 5, 7, and 6 rather on the year. Lawrence Tech finished up 7 and 10 overall. A 1-1 game. Are we bound for overtime, or will we have a game winner in this one? In regulation. These WAC tournament games are just so tight. Jewett comes out to punch that away with his forehead. Rodriguez Bermejo. Pretty good first touch. Looking for Kevin Wright, his partner in crime. Kevin Wright. Back line was ready. Here is Alvaro Aleman, one of the seniors trying to extend their careers. And he's been a fixture in the starting 11 for Lawrence Tech over the past couple of seasons. Really a true right back, a guy who gets very intuitive in the open spaces and offensive situations. Here he is once more. Look at that, lovely. Oh my goodness, watch him squeak through that crevice of traffic and gets taken down. Produces the free kick. Strasiazzo ready. Was lofted in. Kevin Wright moving down that left-hand side and towards the far post. Couldn't get a shot off there. 24 minutes and 46 seconds to go in the second half. A 1-1 game. Aquinas came out with a buzzing energy in the first 15 minutes of this second half, outplayed Lawrence Tech, led to a goal to tie it. Kevin Wright scored in the first half for LTU. That has us where we currently are at a 1-1 game, 24 minutes and 26 seconds to go in regulation of this WAC tournament quarterfinal. Jason Ross Jr. with you. Pleasure to have you with us on LTSN. Postseason sports. How do you describe it? You just love it. Alvaro Garcia. His crossfield ball. He's trying to open things up a bit. Perhaps a bit too overambitious on that far side of the field. Now a searching ball, and the back end is able to track back nicely for Lawrence Tech. This 4 versus 5 matchup, Aquinas and LTU. Meeting up for the second time this season, Blue Devils defeated Aquinas 2-0 earlier this year. Luke Ruff, the head coach for Aquinas, trying to get their first postseason win since 2017. Blue Devils, they've made it to the WAC tournament championship game each of the last 2 years. Won it last year. Beat Cornerstone on this field in the 4-5 to kick off that tournament. Then upset Madonna at their field, and then won the title over Indiana Tech 3-0. Michael Avila, the senior, makes his way back in for Lawrence Tech. If you're wondering, we'll go to penalty kicks if this game does not wrap up after 2 overtime sessions. Bit different in the postseason. This Aquinas team has been in plenty of tight matchups. They're no strangers to this type of a game. They have 6 ties this year. That's the most in the WAC conference. Finished with a 5-7-6 record. The score is 1-1 with 21 minutes and 22 seconds to go in this WAC tournament quarterfinal. Here comes the set piece. It comes in rather hot. It's punched out towards the edge of the area. Kevin Wright bicycling it through the air. It's pinballing around, and now Michael Avila there to clear it to the midfield. Can the Blue Devils produce a counterattack here? Bursting through traffic in the midfield. There is Alvaro Alaman. Just wonder what the mindset of a player is like right now. There's no room for fatigue. Ooh! That one sizzles wide. After that last goal from Teton, I don't know if we'd be surprised if that went in. Came in from a player that they utilize pretty often off the bench in Mohamed Mustafa. He was the only player they used off the bench as a sub in that season-ending win over Cleary, the regular season finale that they won 2-0. Blue Devils lost their season finale at home to Uno, but won 3 of their final 4 games to get to this point and claim the 4 seed by 1.5 games over Aquinas. Well, 19 minutes and 47 seconds now left in this second half. A 1-1 game. Didn't really expect anything else tonight. Under the bright lights, such a fun stage for this game. Jason Ross Jr. alongside producer Kia Tias, Gabe O'Neill down on the field getting highlights for you. that you can find on the various LTU Athletics social media channels throughout next week. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, whatever you might fancy. One the score, 18:46 now to go in the second half. It's kind of been a tale of, I don't want to say two halves, but maybe the first half and the first 15 minutes of the second. The halftime message for Aquinas was clearly inspiring. They came out with an energy level that, I mean, we haven't maybe seen all year from an opponent on this field. Oh, that one flows in. It was plenty of traffic around Jewett. Just goes wide, but he was in a torture chamber down low. Black jerseys, white jerseys, all surrounding him there. The Lawrence Tech team was picked to finish second in the conference. Ended up finishing fourth. High expectations coming in. Dropped their first 5. Won 3 of the first 4 to open up conference play. And had that skid in the middle of the season, losing 3 in a row, but have picked it up. Scored the first goal tonight, Kevin Wright. Lone goal scorer for Lawrence Tech. But Alberto Teton answering back for Aquinas to make it a 1-1 game with 17:04 to go in the second half of play. Aquinas closing down the time and space of the Lawrence Tech players in the midfield much quicker and much more aggressively than they did in the first half. Potential counterattack here. Very ambitious, though, on that crossfield ball. Perhaps overly ambitious. $16:05 to go now in the second half. A 1-1 game between Aquinas and Lawrence Tech in this WAC quarterfinal. Blue Devils finished 1.5 games ahead of this Aquinas group to get the 4 seed. We get another free kick coming in here. This time it'll be Alberto Teton, the goal scorer, who didn't. His goal wasn't too far off from where he is right now. Opts to lift it into the penalty area there, propelled out. Aquinas didn't have too many chances in the area prior to the beginning stages of this second half. But they have looked like a different team in the final 45. Defensively as well. They've, on the contrast, had more room to roam in the midfield. Head coach Will Dyer really puts an emphasis on winning those balls in the air. Lawrence Tech hasn't done that in the second half, at least to the extent that they would like to. Luke Larson lifts that into the night sky. Can the Blue Devils perhaps combine here? Ooh, that one just rolled past the intended receiver. And Aquinas promptly retakes possession. Fans are bundled up inside here at Blue Devil Stadium. 14:12 to go in this second half. A 34-degree night. WAC tournament, WAC quarterfinal, when a 4 quarterfinals taking place today. Winner of this one gets Indiana Tech next Wednesday. Who can book that date? Blue Devils won a thrilling 2-1 quarterfinal in overtime here last year over a Cornerstone team that has really fallen off this year. 2-14-2. They're 1-9-1 in the conference. Cornerstone season is wrapped up along with Rochester and Lourdes. Lourdes is a team that is interesting in terms of this game because they're the only team that Aquinas beat last year in that 1-16 year. Beat Lourdes in early October of last season. But a really, really frustrating season. Players have come back. Plenty of fresh new faces. Retooled group really all around for Aquinas this year. And they're back in the WAC tournament after being a 2 seed the year prior to going 1-16. And they'll have a set piece here. "13 minutes to go in this second half. A 1-1 game. 13 minutes left in regulation. We must have a winner tonight. So after 2 overtimes, we'd go to penalty kicks if necessary. Here's the delivery on the set piece after a slight delay. It goes wide left. No problem there for Jewett. Entertaining, thrilly, topsy-turvy type of game tonight. All of those words kind of epitomize the seasons for these two teams. So could it be any more fitting? I think not. 12:20 to go now in regulation. A 1-1 game. Trying to settle that ball down there, Jake Rajewski. Muskegon Community College transfer, another senior for Lawrence Tech. Trying to extend his career. Guy who has such natural speed, works so hard. Similar to Kevin Wright in terms of the offensive skills. Wright is the lone goal scorer tonight for Lawrence Tech. Can they free him up once more? He has 3 multi-goal games on this field alone over the past couple of seasons. Pressure mounting. Intensity rising. Here is the aforementioned Kevin Wright. Frolicking ahead. Tavin Ardell to Rajewski. Crossfield ball, timely intervention made. Ball punched out of the head of Sean Humphreys in the midfield. Settles down. Now Aquinas trying to counterattack the other way. This ball clips off a couple of foreheads. Will it fall kindly here for Jackson Moore, the Windsor, Ontario native? And the flag goes up. Ending that eventful sequence with 11 minutes to go in the second half. A 1-1 game between Aquinas and Lawrence Tech in this WAC quarterfinal. The Blue Devil fans look on. Rajewski punches that ahead. Kevin Wright trying to pursue it. Couldn't quite get there in time. Calvin Lind tries for the clearance. Humphreys gets back. Rajewski meandering his way through traffic. Opts to play it back. Gagini in a foot race. Ten minutes left in this second half. A 1-1 game. Few substitutions getting set to check in for Lawrence Tech. Interesting. At this stage of the game, 9:40 to go in the second half in regulation. 1-1 the score. Sudden death right now. It's win or go home, and it's the best time of the year. Indiana Tech handled U of M Dearborn, the 8 seed earlier today, 3-0. Madonna, just a 1-0 win over Concordia, a bit closer than maybe some expected there. Alvaro Marino, one of the subs that will come in here. Ryan Resendez as well. And you have Alvaro Garcia. All entering this pressure-packed situation. Rajewski! That slips wide. Uno also with a win today over Cleary. All three of those teams are ranked as Blue Devil Stadium wakes up. Noise cascading down from the 4,000-seat grandstand. Here comes the set piece. These moments have given Aquinas trouble tonight to the far post. Oh, Straciato, the Italian goalkeeper, was ready, then calm in that situation. The freshman who has started almost every game this year for Aquinas comes up big again. Coming off his 4th clean sheet of the season against Cleary. Was scored on in the first half by Kevin Wright. He has vowed not to let it happen again. 1-1 is the score. 7:45 to go in the second half. Straciato, the #1 goalkeeper from northern Italy. Pravisomini. On the other side, now a set piece for Aquinas. Can they produce danger? Nothing there. But they will get another one. Take number 2. Postseason game number 1 for both sides. Nothing really promising on that occasion for Aquinas. 7:03 now to go in this second half and in regulation. 1-1 the score. Aquinas still trying to venture into the attacking third. Can Jewett handle this? Oh, it dropped momentarily right in front of the 6'6" goalkeeper, but he's able to settle it down. Been some danger moments that the junior goalkeeper has been calm in. Couldn't quite save that curling ball from the freshman Tibbet. Six minutes and 20 seconds left now. A 1-1 game. Sounds, feels, and looks like a big game. Blue Devil fans didn't like that, wanted a call. They campaigned for one, but don't get one. We know this place would absolutely erupt in delirium if they can get a goal. Meanwhile, it's the Aquinas side. Max Jewett comes out. An adventurous save there from Max Jewett with 5 minutes and 30 seconds to go in this second half. Dancing with here is Alberto Teton. Saw his skill earlier in this half. The goal scorer for Aquinas. The delivery to the far post. Once again, the corner. Nothing doing there. 4:54 to go in the second half. 1-1 the score. Will we go to overtime, or will we have a game-winning goal in regulation? Max Jewett with the latest monumental save will deliver the goal kick. Blue Devils did well to win that ball in the air. Now they can they stay composed on it? Bit of room opens up. Possession will go back to Aquinas. They'll try to spring the other way. haven't really found Alaman in the way that they would like to. Aquinas has done well defensively against the Blue Devils' leading goal scorer. Venture through the midfield with now 3 minutes and 43 seconds to go in regulation of a 1-1 game. Jewett! Both benches are up. The energy is high. How could it not be in moments like this? 1-1 the score, 3 minutes and 20 seconds to go. In regulation, if you're just tuning in. Blue Devils are the 4 seed in the WAC tournament. Aquinas is the 5 seed. Lawrence Tech has been to the WAC tournament championship the last 2 seasons. They won it last year. A breakthrough season for Will Dyer and company. 7-10 this year. But hoping they can produce some more postseason magic here at Blue Devil Stadium. This ball rolls in Jewett once again. Those long arms. There have been times tonight where he has really had to use all 6 foot 6 inches. You can see the beautiful new scoreboard that was installed last season in your shot there. Really is a wonderful atmosphere here at Blue Devil Stadium. This is about as high as the pressure has been at this venue so far. This men's team didn't play a ton of games here this year, but they're playing in the biggest one here this year. Center comes in. Couldn't quite find Mustafa there. Potential brewing here for Lawrence Tech. Room to roam. The flag is staying down. Right, it slips through. Rodriguez Bermejo! Did that indeed go in? It did! With 1 minute and 37 seconds left. Could you have drawn up a better moment? The emotion and energy rains down from Blue Devil Stadium. 2-1, the Lawrence Tech lead. With 1 minute and 37 seconds to go. Juan Yarmillo on the goal, the Windsor, Ontario native, the junior. He makes it 2-1 with 1 minute and 37 seconds to go. Alvaro Mino will get the assist there. So now 1:18 to go in the second half. As that one goes wide and the Blue Devil fans can sense victory now. 1:10 left. Just trying to survive the final now 65 seconds. Just a half minute to go now. 2-1 the Lawrence Tech lead. Last chance gasp here for Aquinas. What would be a gutting defeat for the Saints on the road. Lawrence Tech trying to book a date with Indiana Tech on Wednesday. Just 13 seconds to go. Blue Devil fans can sense the party now. Just 7 seconds. Just 5 seconds. Just 3 seconds. Just 2. 1. That'll do it. Juan Yarmillo's game-winning goal with less than 2 minutes to go will advance Lawrence Tech to the semifinals. More postseason magic for the Blue Devils. This time they do it in regulation. back-to-back years with a win as a 4 seed. 2-1 the final. Magical postseason moments. Credit Max Jewett. Gets a salute from one of his teammates there, head coach Will Dyer and company, moving on after a scintillating win on the home field. Once again, 2-1 your final. Juan Yaramillo, the game winner with less than 2 minutes to go. Wednesday night, the Blue Devils will meet the Warriors in the semifinals of the WAC tournament. Pleasure to bring you LTU men's soccer all season long, along with LTU women's soccer. It was fun, and it caps off in thrilling fashion and a Blue Devil win. For producer Kia Tyus, Gabe O'Neill down in the field, I'm Jason Ross Jr.